Greetings. Today we are going to transplant a plant. As you can see, there's the plant in my glasses, and there's the hole. So dig your hole first, get your geopotted plant ready, or a plant that's root bound ready to plant. And so we've dug a hole into the soil. It's about a foot down. And what you're gonna do, take your plant, put it on its side. Be very careful. Release those roots. See, as you can see, there's already roots coming out the bottom. Some plants have it a lot worse, or should I say better. All these roots are gonna be attached in here. You wanna actually do this over the hole so excess soil goes directly in there. You don't lose anything. So you just wanna kick that loose, get these roots separated from the pot. And the bigger the pot and the experience, usually takes two people. As you can see, that can get out of hand really fast, and you could literally tear all your roots up. So this is just soil from the ground. Lots of earthworms in here, so we don't need to enhance. It's just dry soil. I picked out all the big rocks, and I'm just covering my plant completely, covering the roots. And it is okay if some root sticks out from the top, because it's just gonna grow directly into the ground. And those roots on top are gonna turn really strong and harden, and you're gonna have an exponential amount of root growth in comparison to just putting this plant into the soil directly as a clone. So we wanna build up our roots by putting them in these plants, in these pots, and growing them out and getting them root bound, so we can throw them into the soil and have way better results. So this is just like vegetative growth, growing inside without flowering until it reaches maturity like this, and it's ready to go into the soil. And so we're still planting in the soil well into July. It's now August 1st, and we're out here in Southern Oregon, near Cave Junction, more towards Medford east. I'm not gonna give away a location, but very close to White City. And so what we're doing is we're still transplanting plants. We're not planting because we've got everything in the soil already, but it's still possible to start planting this late in the season, is all I'm saying. It can be done. You're not gonna get as big as a yield, but anything's possible with hemp. And as you're giving it water, there's still about 2 weeks of vegetative growth left. Some of these strains are flowering because of the ruderalis in it, which ruderalis means autoflower genetics. So I'll walk you through the field later, and I'll point out the plants that are flowering. Pretty cool, because it'll give us something before all this is finished. One of the other really big factors in growing hemp is drying. Where are you gonna dry all that stuff? You know? As you can see, I put a couple plants per pot. I don't ever do that. I only did that this year just because I thought I was late. I've never really gone this south before. I'm on location 24/7 basically, and for the client to take full control. And like I said, I've never been this far south before. Decided to put multiple plants in one pot. That was a bad idea. Don't ever do that. One plant per pot, because one plant will always do better than the others. Competing for nutrients, it's just, one's just gonna always do better. So you're gonna still yield the same amount out of that pot with one plant, 2 plants, 5 plants. So 1 plant per pot. Don't do it like you're seeing here. This is just to get as much stuff as I could to be tested. I'm looking for that strain to make a mother plant. And so I wanted to sprout as many seeds as I could to see the variety in our genetics. So we always go from seed. Going from seed rather than clone, you're gonna ensure yourself that fabulous taproot that's gonna go way deep into the soil, deliver those nutrients to the plant that clones will not. So people wanna save money and do clones, are not gonna yield what a seed does. If you do the research, you'll see that the people really doing it always go from seed because they know about the end yield. So cloning is for indoor, basically. And cloning does destroy strains. I've watched it happen to a very good strain that we were growing, the champagne. And it just dwindled, and it created more, it needed more nutrients to finish. And that's the thing with these new genetics and seeds, is like you're not gonna have to fertilize barely at all. It's a weed, you know? The weed does its thing if the genetics are prime and not over-cloned and just, you know, genetics. You clone something, it's never gonna be the same. It's never gonna be as good. Just like the firstborn son is always gonna have the best genetics. It's just the way it is. Not necessarily saying they're gonna be the best people in life, but just like with seeds, you know, you're gonna have the best genetics possible from seed, but it still might not be your choice genetic. And so you're gonna go with something else. So what we're gonna do when we look for genetics is I'm gonna go through this field and look for the shortest plants that look like they're just taking over, that they're the dominant plant in the area. You can totally tell what is a dominant plant. Hang on, I'll show you. So this is finished. It'll look like that. That was really yellow when we put it in. They're just coming back, took about a week. And we'll water this. Always water your transplants. Very, very heavy soak. Put about 10 gallons of water on that. And the bees are just atrocious. I got stung yesterday. I was so upset. I've been on a spree. So we want to talk about plants that are, see, these are 2 plants per pot. This one's obviously doing better than that one, but really that's not a good example. This is a great example, planted at the same time, and that's just not doing as well. So as you can see, this plant is also doing extraordinarily well. And this one's doing great too, but it's just, that one's taking all the nutrients. So you really want to be careful about 2 plants per pot. We actually have 4 in this, 3 or 4. Yeah, and see, it's just one plant's always going to do better. Just make sure you cover your roots after you water. If they're not looking like that, if they look like this, you don't want them to be exposed to the sun too much. You want them to be exposed like that and go out, because it'll take time for them to harden. Oxygen does kill roots. So that was how to transplant in the garden. jpaconsultant.com, hempseed2scale.com. That's the number 2. Signing off.